In this episode, we're going to be talking about or asking the question, why not you? Why do you think you're not deserving of the lifestyle that you want, the things that you want, the relationship, the loving your life, the being okay with yourself, knowing that you're beautiful or handsome or whatever it is. And yeah, so I'm really excited about this episode. Welcome back to another episode, another solo episode of Melo Meresco. And I'm super excited again because this topic is something I've been thinking about for a very long time, maybe a couple of months. And it's something that I've been questioning myself a lot. Like, why not you? Why not you? Why not you? Because, we see a lot of individuals who aren't okay. There's individuals who are just terrible individuals. They're terrible individuals, but somehow, some way, they're at the top. They're successful in the sense that they have money, they have the material stuff, and it's like, why do they have it but not me? Why not us? People who are trying to find the best version of themselves, and trying to be the most authentic person, the most authentic version of themselves, and just trying to be better individuals, do something actually intentionally and meaningful and that has a good impact. Like, why are we limiting ourselves? Why are we limiting, whether it be our talents, our voice, our our ideas, our creativity coming to life? Like, why do we self-sabotage our success when there's other people who are taking advantage of other stuff? And if you've read the book The Magic of Thinking Big, like, the reason why most of these people, like these terrible people, like who honestly maybe don't even deserve it, the reason that they have the success is because they believe on their talents, they believe on their capabilities, they believe in themselves, and they program themselves to love themselves in their own unique way, or love, or just believe that they're capable, and that things are coming their way where they're able to manifest this stuff. So why not take the universal laws? Why not take the all this information here of neuroscience and quantum mechanics, or saltos cuánticos, or that aligning ourselves to the universe? Like, why not start doing those stuff so that we can start believing in ourselves? Because maybe we need help here and there to remind ourselves of who we are and why we are deserving. Because at the end of the day, we are all deserving all these things. It's just starting to believe those stuff. Because for a very long time, and I still struggle with it, because that's why I'm still where I am today. But I think I'm done an amazing progress in believing more in myself, and even though I still self-sabotage, it's recognizing that self-sabotage is like, no, Andrea, what are you doing? Maybe having some compassion in there. Like, what are you doing? No, keep going, keep doing what you want to do. Because even like with this podcast, I stopped doing episodes or stopped doing interviews in February, and my last episode was in February. And I just pretty much like stopped doing it. I kind of gave up, and I was like there's no followers, like there's nobody engaging, there's nobody, like who am I putting these episodes for? But then when I would listen to it, or when I would see my episodes, like, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this because I feel like I'm not worth it. I feel like I don't have the skills to be a podcast. Like, who am I to do a podcast where I don't even ask good questions, where where maybe the conversation doesn't flow, or I don't even know how to say the things that I want to say, like, half of the time. So it really stopped me there. But then we're reflecting on like different events happening, and self-sabotage with relationships, of like not answering people and like forgetting, and it's like I'm gonna message them, but then not doing it, like all this stuff. I was like, why am I doing this stuff? And so in July, I was like, this is enough. I am going back into the episodes. The emailing people and like asking if they want to interview. I realized like there's a bunch of people who are busy. Like, people are busy, and they're not. Some people, or maybe it's not the time. Maybe it was like time for me to kind of sit down and reflect with my own, like, what do I have to say, what do I believe, and like give my insight, give my perspectives, and share the journey that I'm at. And like maybe that's what people, or maybe that's what I need to hear, and remind myself like I am enough, we are enough. And it's just putting yourself out there, and as little or as big as you want to go. Like for me, I'm taking those little steps of just putting out the episodes. Like I don't put it out in social media. I barely post on TikTok or Instagram. But those little things, those are wins for me. Like just posting on YouTube and making a fool out of myself, that's a win. And it's like, why not me? Like there's other people who put out stupid content who doesn't even make sense, que ni aporta al mundo. And it's like, but I'm here trying to help myself and help others some way, somehow, and like be conscious, become aware. Like there's a beautiful world out here that we don't even know, and we don't even know the possibilities that can happen, because we are so programmed to live in the reality that has been ingrained in us from our families, from society. And it's like you start questioning. It's like, maybe I am capable. I actually have these talents, and maybe actually I do want to do this thing. Or I don't know. You start seeing like a recurring topic or recurring like thing. Like for me, was the podcast of talking about this, like becoming aware, realizing that you don't have to be living the life that you're living now if you don't like it. If you like it, like cool, go for it, like keep going. But if not, it's like you have the ability to change. And I think that's the cool part, and that's the reason of like, yes, like you too can do. Like everybody, every single person here was brought for, has a purpose. And sometimes we may not know it until I don't know when. But the little things that we're doing now, like me putting myself out here in the podcast and the YouTube, and it maybe it just has to happen. Maybe it just has to happen, and I don't know like what it's leading to, but I'm putting my idea into I'm putting my idea into what's that phrase? I'm putting my creation or my idea into reality. There you go, into reality, and not letting fear or my own beliefs about myself stop me from creating this content. Because again, for most of the part, I never know what I'm saying or doing, or it's like, does this even make sense? And thankfully, I have notes question mark because I only have 4 stuff, but it's knowing that whether you believe it or not, we're here for a reason. Sometimes we don't know the reason, but once you start questioning and reflecting and healing certain stuff and healing other stuff, and start having tools and resources to help you through like the bad times and the good times, creating those habits, stuff like that, asking for guidance, you start creating a life where it might take a while. It's for me, I'm still in that journey, but I'm glad that I've been doing this stuff and that I've been getting out of my comfort zone in different ways, so that so that one, I'm not stuck where I once was, and two, push me to where I want to go. Because imagine if I say, oh, I want to be a content creator, and for me, I could tell myself like, oh yeah, you could do it, why not, like why not you? But then if I'm not posting content, how am I supposed to expect the universe to help me or guide me if I'm not taking action at all? Like it doesn't make sense. So it's knowing that you are capable, and you have a purpose here, and you are worth it. You are more than deserving of doing whatever you want to do. Because that's another thing. Like sometimes we think that whatever we want to do, like whether it be like knitting or creating crazy like outfits and selling them, like we think, oh, that's not gonna make money. But there's people actually, I literally saw it today, this morning, this person who had like a bracelet looking like a hamburger, And you will think, or I will think, oh, this person's crazy. But she's making a living out of it. Like, she's doing what she loves, and it's like, why not us? Like, why not us? I'm not saying she's a bad person. I'm not saying that at all. Like, I actually would love to interview her. But we think, like, we limit ourselves so much in what we can do, where in reality we are to take the step. Because sometimes we get in so much into our head. Sometimes we think of like, oh, why am I so sad? Or why am I so depressed? Why am I living this life? But it's like, if you're not, hopefully I'm not screaming. If you're not taking the action of doing what you're meant to do, and sometimes we don't know what it is, but you have those ideas. You have that idea of like, oh, I want to create content, or I want to start knitting, or I want to start taking painting, or I want to start writing. You have those like little ideas, and you start putting them into action. It You start creating momentum. You start creating that compound effect. You start creating this. You start creating another reality that you didn't live before, and you start changing your mindset. You start debunking stuff. So you start questioning your own the reality that you've created for yourself. Sorry, I keep hearing like there's people walking. And yeah, so it's like so many people. There's like again, we limit ourselves so much on the things that we can do, and or sometimes we think our ideas are crazy. Like, for example, I have this idea. I have a bunch of ideas really, but I had this idea of like content creation where I go to people's, like, especially like older women, like grandmas, and like those cool grandmas or people who love cooking, and like to go with them and like hang out with them and cook together, and like them teaching me like their favorite recipe and stuff like that. So if you have a mom or a grandma who doesn't mind being in camera and will want somebody, or is okay with someone going to their homes and recording them, recording us, and teaching me how to cook, like, let me know, send me a DM. I'm so down for that. And again, it's that fear, and I have so many ideas. So it's like I also have to focus on one. But if this can come into reality just because I was able to express it and I get DMs, like, I'm down to create it. Especially if you live in New York or in New York. But I'm also down, like, to travel, man. I'm down for that. And I feel like my voice is leaving, so I'm sorry. I've been recording for I think this is the 5th episode. But yeah, so at the end of the day, it's a lot about reflecting, like, what are my strengths, what are my talents, what are my weaknesses, what can I work more, what it's something that has been in the back of my head, but because of fear, because I don't think I'm enough, because I don't think it's worth it, or like, this is a crazy idea. Like, what is it? What is it? And write it down. Write it down. Maybe this is an obvious thing, but maybe you don't have to go like straight into it. For me, it took me about a year to start this podcast, but I ended up doing it, and now it's been a year and a half if I don't count like the months that I stopped doing the episodes. So even with that, it led me to do a Texas trip and to collaborate with other amazing creators, content creators. Shout out to Paloma and Leslie, where and Faith, where, if I hadn't put myself out there and had created this small portfolio, I would have never, like, the trip to Texas wouldn't have been the thing that it would have that was if I hadn't put in the work of putting myself out there, and not letting my fear of one, talking to complete strangers, two, talking about like vulnerable stuff and trying to go with the flow of conversation when I'm someone who sucks at that. Like, it's not the best, and I've hopefully improved my skills, but I'm still not where I want to be. But that is not stopping me from not doing the podcast, because deep down I know I am worth it, and I know that you two are worth of whatever you want to go after. And I think there's like a lot of things that we can do, like healing our inner child, not even like healing, but also talking to our inner child when we feel these moments of overwhelmment, or these fears coming up, when you're in the path of taking action, and then just asking for guidance for the universe, like, universe, guide me, like, tell me what, if this is the right path, or if this is where I should be going, or do the work, and then you'll see if this is for you or this not, and like do it for a while. Like sometimes I could be very direct, and I could sometimes be very mm, not empathetic. So it's like sometimes for me it's like very easy to say like, oh, just do it. But I've been through it as well, and sometimes I forget that it took me a while to start this podcast, and it took me a while to start loving myself and to know that I'm worth it. And even now I still struggle with it, but I've been getting more signs of there's a transformation coming, and if you keep going and you keep working on it, like, you're gonna be where you want to be, and your purpose is gonna start getting more clear, and you're gonna have more clarity. But you just gotta keep going, and I think sometimes you just gotta go and to you sometimes you have to go into the unknown, but that unknown could be the most amazing thing that you ever done, and you're gonna look back and you're gonna be so happy that you chose to go there, because not a lot of people, like, you see your surroundings, like, man, there's so many people living in fear, so many people living in unhappy relationships, living in unhappy situations with themselves, not loving their bodies, and it's not even, and it's not nothing external, it's just internally they're not okay with themselves. And where can you start is start with the little stuff, the little habits, the inner dialogue, like, I am worth it, I am in the process of getting where I want to be, I'm in the process of this amazing transformation, I am changing my beliefs, stuff like that. For me, there's one that I use is si pasa en mí, pasa en mi camino. In English, it's like, if peace in me, peace in my path, or something like that. Another one is like doing a meditation with your heart. Like, your heart is so powerful and emits so much energy. Where once you're centered, and for example, a quick thing that you could do is breathe. Let's say take 3 deep breaths. From there, ask your whole body, ask your heart. First, ask your heart to smile, do an internal smile. And then from there, ask every part of your body, every cell, every cellular part of your body to smile and feel that warmth and feel that peace. And just breathe. Smile physically, smile. And just remind yourself that you are here with yourself, that you can trust yourself, that you can confide in yourself, and just keep breathing, smiling, and feel how that goes all over your body, and how that changes the energy inside you and externally. And give thanks to your body and to yourself for being here with you. And just let go of whatever's been stuck, and just let the smiles take over. Take 2 more last breaths. And open your eyes. Just feel it. Sitting some silence. This wasn't planned, but man, did that feel good.